The Roadside Maintenance Task Force in Durham, Connecticut came together after a large group of citizens expressed concern over the routine spraying of glyphosate products such as RoundUp and Vacate on public property and rights-of-way in town. So the Board of Selectmen assigned a task force. Its members are Michael Bisceglia, who chaired the committee, Claudia White, Joanne Nitsch, Mark Shadle, and Tina Hurlbert. The charges put forth to the Roadside Maintenance Task Force included researching safe, efficient, and cost-effective methods of maintaining roadways, road signs, and town property that may minimize and/or eliminate the use of hazardous chemicals. Roundup is a big problem. It contains glyphosate, which persists in the environment despite Monsanto's claim to the contrary. During 2 growing seasons in Mississippi and Iowa, it was detected in 60% to 100% of all air and rain samples. It's been linked to serious plant diseases and the creation of superweeds, which is creating a big problem out in the Midwest for farmers. Significant concentrations of glyphosate were found in urine samples and breast milk, staggering amounts up to 5 times to 20 times the acceptable limit that the EPA puts forth as allowable in drinking water. It's also been linked to multiple diseases and conditions, including tumors, infertility, kidney disease, neurological damage, lymphomas, and more. You'll see each of the footnotes at the bottom are linked to the reports that came directly from the EPA, the Environmental Toxicology and Chemical Report, and different analytical toxicology reports. Those findings are right there in the footnotes and can be linked on the website. Different studies and meta-analyses. I didn't know what meta-analyses are. Meta-analyses is a big analysis of all of the different studies, and they've been reinforced by the World Health Organization as well as the American Cancer Society. In March of 2015, the WHO made an announcement that declared glyphosate as a probable carcinogen to humans. And what this means, in isolation, it's a little bit tricky to understand, but when you look at the carcinogen classifications that the WHO uses, glyphosate is listed under Group 2A now that this report has come out, just under the carcinogens that are in Group 1, such as radon and arsenic and asbestos. So what are other people doing about this? Obviously, the citizens in Durham are not the only ones who are concerned about this issue. So countries such as the Netherlands, South Africa, Chile, Sri Lanka, France, and the province of Ontario have all passed bans on glyphosate. Colombia, their health ministry has recommended banning glyphosate. Legislation is currently in the works to ban glyphosate in El Salvador, Brazil, and Argentina. This legislation has all passed their houses that voted, currently is being held up in legal systems by appeals from Monsanto. What are some other folks doing? Senator Ted Kennedy Jr. has put Roundup at the top of the list to ban in his proposed Senate Bill 1063. The EPA has announced its intention to restrict the use of glyphosate because of health and environmental concerns. Those environmental concerns stem from what we discussed earlier, the development of superweeds that are not responding to any form of chemical treatment. Feed the World is a nonprofit organization, and it's making test kits available for people to independently test their own urine, their own water, and breast milk. And most recently, California mom Tracy Madlener got Roundup eliminated in her neighborhood in 2015. So she took on her neighborhood association, and any of us familiar with neighborhood associations know that sometimes it's a challenge to get a clothesline put up or have chickens in your backyard or paint your front door purple. She took on her neighborhood association and got everyone in the association to vote to eliminate Roundup from use in their neighborhood altogether. So it brings us to the question, if all of these people around the world, worldwide agencies, big government, grassroots organizations, and ordinary citizens are acting to stop using glyphosate and Roundup in their communities, why not Durham? Our task force has several recommendations that we'd like to put forward for the Board of Selectmen. The first one of which is to do no harm and continue to extend the process that the town public works currently uses at Allenbrook Park and the town green to encompass all property, including rights of ways. Nothing gets sprayed on those properties. Intensive management of weeds and non-desirable plants take place on those properties. We would like to see that process extended. We'd like to see aggressive management taking place. We'd like to see hand pulling by the root, mulching happening as well. Our other recommendation would be, once those areas are cleared, to plant them with native alternative plantings that are safe, indigenous to the area, and friendly to our pollinators, like milkweed, sedge, clover, and different ornamental grasses. Fourth, we would recommend that the Public Works Department consult with the resource people that we were able to get in touch with, folks from the New England Wildflower Society, Massachusetts DOT, the Cooperative Extension Centers, various folks whose specialties and training are in non-toxic management of lawn and ecology. As an absolute last resort, we would recommend that if a product absolutely had to be used, we did a lot of research. We took a look at a lot of different products. We looked at the MSDS sheets and ingredients of lots of different herbicides. We found that Burnout Organic Weed Control met our approval because of its ingredients. It's non-toxic. Its active ingredients are clove oil and citric acid, with the only other 3 ingredients being mineral oil, water, and gum arabic. It's comparable to Roundup. It actually works better in certain situations. It works faster. It kills most roots. Once it's dry, rain will not affect the performance, whereas if Roundup is applied and it rains, the product washes off. After application, it is absolutely safe to enter any treated areas. That is not the case with Roundup. When we took a look at the cost and usage comparisons of Roundup versus the Burnout that we were using, that we recommended, currently, the data that we received from Public Works said that the town spends between $750 and $800 a year on up to 30 gallons of Roundup and or Vacate combined. 1 gallon of ready-to-use Roundup will treat about 235 square feet. These numbers don't include labor or equipment. We did take a look at the day sheets from Town Hall, and there was really no way to break down how much of a product was being applied in any one given area, which areas were being treated more vigorously, how many man hours or woman hours were needed to address the different areas. So this is just purely product cost only. Burnout, if we look at that, would cost about $416.30 for 30 gallons of a pre-mixed, of the mixed product. 2.5 gallons of the concentrate makes 7.5 gallons of ready to use, and it will cover a half an acre in broadcast application. So in conclusion, our task force would like to thank the Board of Selectmen for thinking in a forward, positive, healthy way to make a change that will be good for our children. These are all photos of our kids, our families in town. Be good for our land. Again, these are all photos of our town. It's beautiful. We have a lot of wildlife. We have opportunity for pollinators and stream life and farm life. And it would be really good for our town in general. We were at the forefront of establishing the Solarized Durham program and made a name for ourselves doing that. And we really feel like this would be a fantastic opportunity to move forward for our citizens, for our kids, and for our town.